So before we start this next video, we just want to give a huge shout out to Kari Man, our girl, for supporting us on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to support us too, it's a great way to help us out, but we appreciate anybody who helps us out. So Kari, thank you very much.
Big cheers.
From Puerto Morelos.
Hi, welcome back. 3 suitcases, living in Puerto Morelos, living our best life. Moved down here with 3 suitcases, doing stuff a little bit differently today, along with the beautiful bride. We are just going to try to answer some of the top 10 questions that you may have about visiting Puerto Morelos for the first time. If you live here, if you've been here a bunch of times, you don't need this video and stuff. But between people giving us comments and when we have visitors come down and on some of the forums and just the questions that we had before we came down, even with all the YouTube we watched, we still had a lot of questions. So we're going to try to break some of those down, make them simple and easy, make your first visit to Puerto Morelos as easy as possible. Right?
Yeah. You got questions? We got the answers. We'll see how that goes. There's going to be options depending on your comfort level, but we're going to answer the top 10 questions as smoothly as we can and also give you options so you have choices for how you want to handle it. True?
True.
Okay.
Some of these, there's no just simple right or wrong answer, so we're just giving you some kind of guidelines and based on our experiences and the questions we have. First one, we see this all the time. How do you get to Puerto Morelos from the airport? So you got your plane flight booked, you got you know what hotel you're staying, how am I getting there? Well, if you have a hotel, or certainly if you're staying at all-inclusive, they're going to have shuttle service. But if you stay at a hotel, a lot of them can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is just get a driver. You can take a personal, a private thing, or just call a cab. We have a great guy, Jose. If you want, send us a comment. We'll give you his contact information. He loves picking people up.
And he speaks English, and he can give you a lot of information. If you have questions for him on the way here, he can answer a lot of your questions as well.
And there's other people like him, but he's been great to us. I think he should be the mayor of Puerto Morelos. But roughly expect to pay about $40 each way. That's going to be kind of the going rate. You might be able to find a better deal. If you just show up at the Cancun airport looking lost and touristy, you might pay more. But $40, give or take, is probably what you're going to pay to get from the Cancun airport to wherever you're going in Puerto Morelos.
And the shuttle, I think the hotel shuttles are going to cost about the same, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, question number 2. Dollars versus pesos. This question gets asked all the time. It's a simple answer to this one. There's no right or wrong here. It's just right versus wrong. Yeah. Pesos.
Right.
You're in Mexico.
Yes.
First off, if you give them dollars, they'll take them. You can use dollars any place you want.
Especially at an all-inclusive, they're going to take dollars. Yeah. But if you are coming to actual town of Puerto Morelos, bring pesos. If you forgot to get pesos or you haven't ordered pesos and you bring cash, go to the exchange place. We have it in a couple of our videos. And exchange it for pesos. You're probably going to get a better rate in the U.S. at your bank, but pesos.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Just do it at your bank. My cousin Dallas was down last week. He just called his bank and ordered $1,000 in pesos. You get the best rate. You come down here, you can use money exchange. You're going to get a better rate than going to a restaurant. All the restaurants will take dollars, but you're maybe going to get 17 pesos to the dollar, where the current exchange rate it's usually around 20. But then they have to take that money and they have to go and do the exact same thing and go exchange it themselves. So if you just bring pesos with you, everybody wins.
And just a tip, the pesos, when you order, you usually have to order them from your bank, and it just takes a couple of days to get them. So it's not the same day, it's about a couple of days. So just prepare for that.
Question number 3. We're coming in November, or we're coming in March, or we're coming 2 weeks from now. How's the Sargassum going to be? Or what's the weather going to be like? You could have a direct line to Mother Nature. That question cannot be answered. It just can't. Nobody knows. In the summertime, Sargassum is at its worst. So you can expect there to be some. And the spring kind of builds up to that. The fall kind of diminishes. The winter, you're here from December to April and stuff. It's pretty clear. You really don't have to worry about it. Spring, summer, fall, you're going to have some Sargassum probably. Puerto Morelos is one of the towns that has the barriers up around outside of the beach area or whatever, so it stops a lot of it. Depending on which hotel you're at, some places clean it up better than others and stuff like that. But expect if you come in the summertime, there'll probably be some sargassum here. And it depends upon the currents, the winds. I mean, it can be a foot thick one day till they get it all cleaned up, and the next day, completely crystal clear.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that answer.
Even if you say I'm coming next week, it's still a hard question to answer because it truly changes from day to day.
If you go to in Puerto Morelos, they do have they have two webcams on there that you can click on and stuff, and you can see the cameras that are going all the time. By the way, when you're asking people on these sites, if you go on the forums, these questions get asked every other day. So some people will start getting a little feisty with answering these same questions over and over. The other thing, if you give a question and or we didn't give you enough of an answer, if you go on any of these forums, there's always a search icon up in the corner, a little magnifying glass. Just hit that, type your question in there. I guarantee you do not have an original question. These questions all get asked all the time.
And a couple of the forums that he's talking about is I Love Puerto Morelos or True Friends of Puerto Morelos. Those are two that we belong to as well. And don't be afraid to ask a question. There are going to be some people who are going to give you a little guff about it, but still ask the question. If you want to know, ask the question.
They'll still answer. Just might not like it.
Yeah, you might get a good answer out of the 10 bad ones, but you'll get an answer.
You will get an answer. Question 4. Can I get my needs met in town? We're talking doctors, dentists, groceries, liquor, things like that.
Yeah.
They have all that here.
Medications.
Yeah, that's doctor's office,
Right,
pharmacies.
yeah.
So, yes, and pretty much at any of these places, there's really somebody there that speaks English. If you can have a little bit of Spanish in you, that would be great, but you're basically going to find somebody there who can speak English. So if you have to go to the doctor, right here in Puerto Morelos, if you have to go to a dentist, right here. Pharmacies, if you need any medication, they have pretty much every medication you may need right here in town. They have 3 grocery stores, 1 on the port side, 2 on the Colonia side. You can get basically, other than a handful of things that are a little trickier to get, you can get anything you get in the States right here in Puerto Morelos.
Yeah, the one thing that we did have a difficult time with was distilled water. If you have a CPAP and you need distilled water, you might want to consider that, packing it in your bag and bring it with you. It is considered a medical device and a medical need, so you can bring the distilled water
Without being charged a check bag.
Without being charged anything. So
And you can bring distilled water too. But sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what, there are a couple pharmacies here that carry it. Pretty expensive. If you got
Really
room or whatever, if
expensive.
you're not willing, if you don't have a problem bringing it,
Right.
bring a gallon with you for however long you're going to be.
because it's some pharmacies may have it, and then when you do get it, it's one of the really expensive. It's like gold down here.
Quite that bad, but it is more
It
expensive than you're going to pay
is.
for it in the States. It's not 99 cents a gallon. I
Yeah,
promise you
no,
that.
it's a lot down here. So if you can get it, I would suggest that's something that you bring if you need it.
All right, question number 5, transportation. Renting a car, you can do that. Your life in Mexico, there's other places you can rent a car. That's where we get them from. Perfect English. Actually, I believe it's American or Canadian owner of it and stuff. But Chris, the lady at the front counter, she's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
She's Mexican, but she speaks English better than I do. Get that for about $40 a day if you're not comfortable. There's cabs. We can take a cab where we want to go for just a few dollars. They have collectivos. They're on 2 different routes. We've talked about these in a couple of other videos. They're 10 pesos, which is about 50 cents. And basically take you to the beach, take you wherever you want. It's like a big minivan type thing where everybody just piles in and stuff. But you can get wherever you want for 50 cents in town. There's ADO buses if you're a little more outgoing or adventurous and stuff. You
Yeah.
can jump on, there's bus stops, take you down to Playa del Carmen, take you up to Cancun, wherever you need to go. There's private services. You can ride your bike. We're not 25-year-old hard bikers. We don't ride the bike as much as we should, but anything locally
Yeah.
in our neighborhood, we the OXO and
Yeah.
things like that. We
The
ride our
fruit
bike
market
wherever we
right
need to
down
go.
the street.
Yeah.
There's a few places obviously that we go to, and you can rent a bike. There's a couple places that have the bike rentals. We bought them. We're here for a long time, so we went ahead and bought bikes.
The other question that ties into this: can I rent a golf cart there?
Oh
No.
no.
There are no places in town that have golf carts to rent. Now, there are a couple people that own a golf cart on the port side, and there's a couple people on the Colonia side. You do see them out once in a while, very rarely. But this is not Holbox, this is not Isla Mujeres, it's not Acamal.
Yeah.
And the 2-lane road that goes between the port side and the Colonia side, I love golf carts. I wish we could have one. I would not ride a golf cart on that road or going around the roundabout. I mean, if you're going to be on one side or the other, you want to buy a golf cart,
Yeah.
but you're probably not doing that on your first visit and stuff. But no,
There-
there are
but-
no golf cart rentals in Puerto Morelos.
And the other thing is there's not that much parking anyway, so taking taxis is truly the best. Taking taxis or whatever, ADO buses or the collectivos, I'm sorry. Those are probably the way to go because you could just get dropped off within a block of where you need to be.
Yeah, just raise your hand up, at Alto, and they'll stop wherever you need to, and they'll drop you off in the middle of the blocks.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. All right, number 6, excursions. Where, when, how to buy. We're not telling you, if you see some of our videos or other YouTube videos, I mean, you can check out other things too.
Yeah.
There's so many cool excursions where you go to cenotes, you want to go swim with the turtles, or, whatever it is. There's caves, there's a million excursions you can go on.
There really
I would not rent it through a place when you're in the U.S. because you're going to pay top dollar for that. It's like renting, doing the excursion when you're still on the cruise ship. Wait till you get to port, you're going to get it a lot cheaper.
But the only exception to that is Ishkaret, because if you know you want to go to Ishkaret and you book that 15 days in advance, you do get it like a 15% discount on that ticket. If you wait till last minute, you lose that discount. So
There's
there are
that.
those.
If there's somebody they can contact, you might still get the discount and stuff. But when you get here, there's plenty of little tourist spots. Trust me, when you get downtown, you will not have a problem finding somebody who will get you on a boat to go wherever you want to go. Get you on the shuttle to take you out to cenote. It's not hard to find that. If we go to, like when we went to Ishkaret, yes, we booked it in advance. But we usually rent a car, unless you want to take an ADO bus or anything like that. And just book it right through the place. You just pay costs. There's not a middleman there to mark that up.
Well, and the other thing is if you book it through one of those places down there, you could talk to them about what you are looking for, and they could book many different excursions, and then they can also get you a ride there so you don't have to rent your own car. Obviously, the cheapest way to do an excursion is rent a car if you're going to be here for a week and drive yourself if you're comfortable. Going to the cenotes, going to some of these other places, because then even Acamal Beach, once you get there, it's $6 to get into the beach.
Rent a car is not there. I'm taking a bus is the cheapest, but if you want that
No.
convenience to be able to get on and off whenever you want
Yeah.
and stuff, you can certainly do that. So the excursions are kind of up to you. What's your comfort level?
What your
on those?
comfort level is, because if you feel comfortable driving down here, and trust me, your first time in Puerto Morelos and you see the driving, you're probably not going to be comfortable. But talk to if you're at a hotel, talk to, the people who are at the hotel, the people who are running the hotel, or people who have been there for a couple of days.
They're all going to know something. I
Yeah, or
promise you.
if you're staying at Airbnb, talk to your host prior. I'm sure they have plenty of ideas and options for you to get around.
Where to go? Restaurants, beach clubs, nightlife. Again, can't be answered. There are a ton of beach clubs in this town. So, and everybody has their favorite. And if you ask that question, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Yeah.
And there's not a wrong answer there. But
That's
there's
true.
no best beach club is all I'm trying to say. There's no best beach club. Everybody's got their favorite. We have our favorite. In fact, we're working on a bunch of videos. But right now we're working on a video on our favorite beach clubs.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you a video and pictures of it and stuff. So maybe you can decide on your own which one kind of looks like the style that you're looking for.
Right.
Restaurants, what are you in the mood for? Are you wanting steak? Are you wanting pizza? Are you wanting a taco? Do you want to be on the port side? Do you want to be on the Colonia side? There's great places for both.
Yes.
On the port side, Donatrini's, pretty good authentic Mexican food right on by the bookstore, right by the park. Very good. El Chimichurri is our favorite place for steak.
Fabulous steak there.
If you're looking for a drink, El Refugio. In fact, if you go to El Refugio and you mention 3 suitcases, you have a free surprise coming for you. They love you there. Ask for
Yeah.
Ricardo, Pablo, Jesus, any of those guys, they'll take care of you. They speak English. Great place to
Yeah.
go. La Serena is kind of where everybody
A lot
knows and
of
takes
us,
care of that.
yeah.
If you're looking for pizza, we're not big fans of the pizza down here. I would rather have a Domino's pizza than any pizza in town. I hate to say that. I don't want to bash any place. If you have to order one, we'd probably say get big pizza.
Yeah, so far that's the one we've had the best luck with as far as some stuff, but just be aware that if you get like a all meat pizza or the everything pizza, you might get hot dog slices on your pizza.
We ordered a pepperoni sausage one night from a place, and our sausage was like the little sausage links. The breakfast
Breakfast,
sausage
yeah.
was the sausage on our pizza.
And these are different places and everything, but so far the best luck we've had is Big Pizza or Mem on the port side.
They got a really good crust.
They have an amazing, like, what is that, New York style crust or what's?
Yeah, it's a homemade Neapolitan
a
crust.
Neapolitan crust. Their pizza is really good, but that is going to be pricey.
La Poblanos on the Colonia side, one of our favorites. You know,
Oh,
Ruins, they're
tacos.
street places. Colonia side, great food for much less prices.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of come here and just kind of know what you want, and then it's a lot easier to figure it out. You can do a search thing, and we have more than enough recommendations for things like that.
There's so many.
And they all deliver. They all deliver. Get WhatsApp.
Yes.
Huge thing. Before you come down here, it's an app. Just put WhatsApp on your phone. The entire world, basically, besides the United States, uses WhatsApp. Once you put that number in there and use Google Translate, you can send them your order in Spanish, and they'll respond back. They deliver. It's cheap. It's easy. It's super convenient.
Yeah.
Get WhatsApp. Use a little Google Translate if you don't speak the language really well. You have no problems getting deliveries.
99% of them have Facebook pages too. So you can get the menu, you can see everything you want to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8. Do I need to speak Spanish? Not really. If you're on the port side, no, you don't. Would it be helpful? Absolutely. It would still be helpful. If you're on the Colonia side, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
You can get by with pointing and knowing a few basic words and stuff like that.
But it's not the same. We're still struggling. Our next adventure is going to be taking Spanish classes because it would be so beneficial if you already know Spanish. So beneficial.
So, if you don't know Spanish that well, it would be great to know some of the words.
Yeah.
Again, get WhatsApp. You can just do Google Translate, put the words in there. You can get through a lot of stuff with Google Translate. We have our maintenance guy and stuff, and he doesn't speak any English at all, and he talks too fast with a really strong Mexican accent. We really kind of have to Google Translate our conversations. They can do just the voice thing and stuff. You just hit a button, and he talks into it, and it comes out saying English words, and for the most part, that works pretty good. Number 9, where should I stay? Port side or the Colonia side? If you're coming for your first visit, I'd probably recommend staying port side. I've said it before, port side is kind of the pretty face of the town. I think the Colonia side, which is where we live, is the heart and soul. But the first time coming down, you want the water, you want the beach, you want a little bit more of the conveniences. You know, you pay more, but there's more stuff down there. There's a lot more culture on the Colonia side, but the port side is a great place to be. I would recommend staying there. If you're staying for a longer period of time and you're getting an Airbnb, consider coming to the Colonia side and then just taking a cab down to the port side.
Yeah, I definitely, for your first time, if you're only staying a week or so, do the port side, maybe take a taxi to the Colonia side and just check it out. But
go to the park on the Colonia side. There's a bunch of good food right around there. You can eat to your heart's
and that
content.
is more towards the evening. Just don't try going there at noon. There might only be one vendor, but more towards the evening, you know, between 5 and 6, more things open up for them. Yeah.
And that's not really a common question. However, that is something to know very importantly. And if you have to see the store hours on their Facebook site, not necessarily going to be the case.
Yeah.
Some places are only open early in the morning. Some places will be open for certain days, things like that. So just because it says they're open 9 in the morning to 7 at night isn't a guarantee that they're going to be open 9 in the morning till 7 at night.
That's true.
And last but not least, question number 10. We're coming to visit for the first time, but we're also looking to maybe buy a place, our retirement place, our forever home. Want to buy a place to Airbnb out for right now, whatever. Most of those things are going to be on the Colonia side. Selva Escondida is a big one. We've seen that on YouTube too, and we thought about it. And there's a lot of Americans and Canadian Europeans that buy these places sight unseen. We looked at condos. In fact, when we visited last year, and we kind of knew this is where we were coming to, we were looking at condos here. It is hard. There's no MLS like there is in the States. So there'll be a phone number on the front of the house. You can check that out. but there's no real realtors. There's a lot of people that say they're realtors that aren't actually realtors. That can get a little bit sketchy. So you want to have some of these things booked ahead of time. You don't want to just come down here for a week and think you're just going to start making phone calls and have all this stuff.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It might be very hard to get a hold of that person.
Yeah, and a lot of times because the property taxes aren't high down here, so some of these things might be owned by the family. And it's been sitting empty for a year or two, so there's nobody there in a rush to help you out and stuff. By the time you might be back home, where you live currently, before somebody even gets back to you about coming to see that property.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, even if you want to rent for 6 months like we're doing, we made the appointments in advance and let them know that we were coming down for a certain amount of time and wanted to see some places within our first week. And then you also have to make sure that they're legitimate. And I'm not exactly sure. I mean, we went to a lawyer in Playa and signed all our paperwork there for our property. I wouldn't just give someone money to hold a place for you and then say you got it. I just wouldn't do that.
That's kind of common sense, and there are definitely scams out there. For the most part, it's not a problem. It's not a big thing. If you're going to buy a place, it all goes through the notary and stuff. It's pretty straightforward. It's a little different than you do it in the US or in Canada, but it's still a pretty legal, safe way to go and stuff. But maybe do a little bit of research, and since there's not really an MLS, you can find some things in the States. But if you go on Marketplace on Facebook and look in just in the Puerto Morelos area, you'll see a lot more things on there. But do your due diligence before you just start sending money.
Do your research. Do not just send money to anybody to hold a place for you. Like we said, we had a hotel for the first week we were here, and we knew we had appointments. And when we found our place, then we went and signed paperwork and gave them money. But we definitely did not send money prior.
Right. So those are the top 10 questions that we had, that we see people asking, that our comments have been getting, things like that. Hope these were helpful. If you have other ones, you can send us comments. We'd love to get comments. You can like and subscribe to our channel if you want to get more information or start following us. We have some more of the videos coming. Like I said, we're going to do some more of the hotels and the beach clubs and the restaurants and stuff. So we're going to try to let you know a little bit more about Puerto Morelos as time goes on.
Because there's definitely been a lot of questions about, beachfront hotels or Airbnbs or, best beach clubs. So hopefully in the next few months we'll be able to visit all of them, or at least a fraction of them, and bring those to you as well.
Yeah, so subscribe to our channel, and you'll get notified when these things come out.
Catch you later. Cheers.
From Puerto Morelos.